everyone, my name is Freya. I'm one of the very lucky African mammal keepers that gets to work here at Australia Zoo. I mostly work with our ring-tailed lemur species, so I'll be taking you around today, showing you a little bit about what our day entails and all the dirty work that we also do. This is our lemurs' diet. They have a bunch of different food items that we do present them throughout the day, including their primate cake, which is their most favourite thing to eat. And then we have a bunch of different vegetables for them. They are an opportunistic omnivore species, so we like to make sure that they do have variety in their diet, including some eggs there. So yeah, I'm going to prepare this and then we'll pop it in some enrichment feeders for the morning just to keep them really mentally stimulated and enriched, and we'll see if they enjoy it. So I will feed out their primate cake first and foremost. It also gives me a good glimpse at how they are behaving and looking this morning. We've got 5 ring-tailed lemurs here. We have a female Matilda, she is our matriarch, and we have her 3 offspring, and then our breeding male Indra. He is a ball of fun. He is always trying to persuade the females either to breed with them or to try and assert dominance, which never goes down well. He is the lowest ranking member of the troop. We have our matriarch Matilda. She's a beautiful lemur, but she will give you what for. She's definitely always telling her little kids off and making sure that she does maintain that position as dominant female. They've got their own very big personalities. Sometimes you can just tell who's who, not even by their physical appearance, but just by some of the behaviours that they're demonstrating. So there are over 100 species of lemur. They are all found on the island of Madagascar. A lot of them are under threat from habitat destruction and also the illegal pet trade. This is a species that does only have just over 2,000 left in the wild. They are a species that we're focusing on conservation efforts and for a breeding program. They're vital to their ecosystem. They are opportunistic omnivores. That also means they are responsible for redistributing seeds and rejuvenating their natural habitat as well. So they are a really important species to their ecosystem. And very, very fun to observe. They're always getting up to no good. The reason why we have them off display is just to make sure that we have set them up as best as possible to succeed when it comes to raising the babies, but it also does mean that we can provide them with additional safety from the elements and from potential threats like birds of prey. We just like to make sure that they are set up as best to succeed while we have that luxury to do so. They are technically an arboreal species, but they do spend about 40% of their time on the ground. You'll see if they are on the ground, their tails will often be up in a relaxed question mark as they're exploring, but they are very agile when it comes to moving in the trees. The swiftness that they can move is, I thought my brain moved really quickly, but watching them, it's next level. They can jump 3 meters from a standstill and they can jump 5 meters consecutively from tree to tree once they get that momentum. I just can't move that fast. So we have our matriarch Matilda having some sweet potato at the back there with her 2 twins at the front. They're just catching the morning sun, so it's sort of around 8:30 to 9 in the morning, and we get that nice warm winter sun. It is a natural behaviour for the lemurs. They often do it in the morning and the afternoons, and it is just to warm up their bodies and get a good little sunbake. I don't know about anyone else, but I definitely love lying in the sun. And these little animals are no different. So it's a very interesting and entertaining behaviour to observe, and it kind of looks like they're just sort of meditating, and they look very peaceful doing it. I love it when they start closing their eyes and they just look so sleepy and content in their environment. It almost relaxes me. Often grooming will come at this time of day too with our troop. They're a pretty interesting species. They've got a sublingual flap in their mouth, kind of like a secondary tongue, and that helps them with grooming. And they also have 6 grooming teeth. If you do see 2 lemurs grooming each other, they are establishing or maintaining a social bond. And that is also a really interesting behaviour to observe and important, because you can then figure out where they belong in the hierarchy from that too. So with our bachelor group of males, we know that our dominant male Chase, he's best buddies with his second in command Eddie, because they will not leave each other alone, and they'll always be grooming each other and always be huddling up against one another. They're good behaviours to observe, because we do need to manage these animals appropriately, and observing their hierarchical status is vital to that process. What have you seen? They'll often make some little noises when they think a bird of prey is flying over. Sometimes they mistake a cockatoo for a bird of prey, which is great for them because it demonstrates that they are behaving instinctively, which is fantastic. And it's also interesting behaviour to observe because they kind of all come together as a troop and let everyone know about the threat that's happening. And the noise is just this erratic alarm bark. So that could be heard from over 1 kilometre away. It just makes me love my job even more because we're so fortunate to hear an endangered species vocalise. I've honestly stopped my presentations before just to say, hey everyone, listen to this. This is what an endangered species ring-tailed lemur alarm bark sounds like. And you have 15 lemurs all going off at once, barking about a potential bird of prey that's flown over. Oh, sends chills down your spine. I have got some puzzle feeders. And the idea is for the lemurs to use their hands to get into all of these holes and to grab their food items. And it is a form of mental stimulation and also physical stimulation, really good enrichment for them. Obviously in the wild, you can imagine they'll be foraging around and trying to figure out in various different ways to get their required food. So we do want to try and replicate that natural behaviour as best as possible. This is probably my favourite part of the morning, watching them interact with their enrichment that we do give them. And it's just so much fun to see them problem solve and try and get their little hands in and extract their food items. They've all got their own unique strategies of how they do extract their food. So Matilda's quite calculated. She will figure out what food item she wants the most and use her hands to put them in the holes that she thinks is closest to the items. And then we have one of the twins who's just flipping the box. Flipping it to try and have all the food fall out. So even just how they interact with things like their enrichment does convey how individually they think and their little traits of their personalities and how they go about problem solving. There's nothing in them. They're all finished. Sweet, they're all finished. You did good. Here on Bindi's Island, we're really fortunate we have got such a natural barrier for the ring-tailed lemurs so they can still be safe in their environment. We do have water. Ring-tailed lemurs are not a fan of water and they also can't swim very well either. So it is a really good natural barrier. It's nice, we get native wildlife coming through and it's always a bit of fun to watch the water birds swim on down, and the lemurs sometimes think a water bird's a bird of prey. So we can always, we tend to sometimes have them alarm bark, but all a bit of enrichment. They have their routine, they have their midday naps, they have like grooming time, social time, foraging time. They're so comfortable sitting in the weirdest of positions. They can choose to be both in trees and on the ground, so it's a good life to be a lemur. So I just decided to do like a quick little sneaky training session with these two while the other dominant males are not paying any attention. There you go. Oh boy, can you have that? At the moment we're working on left hand presents with Peanut, so we can inspect his hand in case he has any future injuries. And then we're also working on a target hold with Diego, and that essentially means he needs to present his nose to a target stick for a duration. That was a great attempt. Done a great job, but we are all finished now, buddies. All finished. I've got quite a fair few things that I do love about being a zookeeper. I work really closely with 7 of the lemurs that we have at the zoo, but I have to say that Peanut and Indra have been my biggest challenges. And seeing their change in behaviour has been astronomical. Indra was obviously one of the lemurs that is quite behaviourally abnormal. Peanut wouldn't come within 2 metres of anyone. It kind of took 6 months. And that 6-month period, it was like a switch just flicked and he was like, okay, I'm in your space now. And then we had to establish boundaries. That relationship has just taken off, and that's really great for his own well-being because it means if he does get an injury or some kind of illness, I'm able to inspect him and provide him with the best care possible. So that relationship and that trust is probably one of my most favourite things. I love nature, I love animals and always have. So being able to share my passion and be an advocate for species and conservation is a really big thing for me too. But I'm also going to add in there the fact that I love cleaning. I love cleaning, and it's really satisfying, and providing the animals with a clean and hygienic environment is really satisfying. So yeah, quite a fair few things, but I think the first two are my main